Hello, Internet. So yeah, I'm back with this week's comic book talk. Gonna do something similar to last time, where I'm just doing like 3 issues as opposed to like my whole pull list for the week. 'Cause it's just not gonna get done in time if I do that. And I did read some stuff before I made this video, and it was I don't think I can like talk about it in a non-spoilery fashion and like get across like how good of an issue it was. So I'm just not gonna like do a recap for that issue, but I ended up picking up this week Saga number 17, All New X-Men number 20, Uncanny Avengers number 15, Cataclysm Ultimate Comics X-Men number 2, Daredevil number 34, and X-Men number 8. Saga and Uncanny Avengers I've already read, but they're kind of stuff in there with spoilers I don't really want to talk about because I don't think I can talk about it with spoiling it. But I did just read All New X-Men, so I'll go ahead and talk about that first. And then I guess Daredevil and X-Men. I'll probably read X-Men before Daredevil, but yeah. So let's get to it. So we start off and we have X-23 sitting there on wherever they have her in the Uncanny X-Men's HQ, which is at the Weapon X facility. I think it's called the Charles Xavier Institute, is what Cyclops is calling it. But yeah, she wakes up and then, like over her, you have Iceman and Beast, and it's funny because Iceman's like, ask her if she'll marry me, because Beast is all like, "Can you hear me? What's your name? Do you know where you're at?" And then she doesn't say anything, and like pops her claws, and then Iceman's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." And like Beast is just trying to say like you're among friends, everything is cool, and then like she's like looking towards those two, and then you can see that Jean, Cyclops, Angel, and Kitty are also there, and then Kitty's trying to explain the situation of like, you know, you're in distress and we came to save you, and like what was going on, and then like the whole time Jean's reading her mind, like giving a play-by-play of what she's thinking. She's like, she doesn't believe us. She doesn't believe what she's seen, and she's about to run. And so she just like runs out of the room because they're in Weapon X. And since she's like and like Kitty explains, you know, this is where they made Wolverine, and X-23 is a genetic clone of Wolverine. So therefore, you know, she doesn't want to be in this facility because that's where she was. I'm not sure if she was made there too. I'm not sure. She didn't say that. She just said she's a genetic clone of Wolverine, so she wouldn't want to be in a facility where they made Wolverine. And then like Bobby makes some more jokes about like, wait, they actually made a Wolverine? Why would anybody want to make a Wolverine on purpose? And so she runs outside into like the snow and stuff since they're in Canada. And like Cyclops is there, and he's like being all calm and rational, like, okay, so yeah, this is what's going on, and we found you, and you know, you should just calm down and stuff. And then like she smells him, which was hilarious. She's just like sniff sniff, and she's like, "It is you," and he's like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Why are you all so young?" So she's like, what's up with all these X-Men here? But they're not their current selves. Their past selves, they're younger. So she's like freaking out like everybody else would. And then Cyclops is like, yeah, we time traveled here. And then she's like, why would you do that? Here sucks. And then Cyclops is asking what happened to her. And then she starts telling him about it. Well, she doesn't really like say what happened. She's just like, it's been like a year of getting experimented on and tortured and yada yada yada. Then like while she says that though, Jean is like reading her mind, so it's like Jean is like looking into her thoughts of like she actually like knows what happened. And then Kitty's like, Jean, this is like one mind that you cannot poke around in because you do not need to like know what happened to her in that situation. And she's like, all right. And then it's really funny too because like Jean has been doing this like all throughout like this series since it started. She's just been like reading everybody's mind like completely unethically, like not back down of like, it's like she does, like she shouldn't, and like she even made a promise to Kitty like she'd stop doing it, but she didn't. Cause it's like it's just like young teen Jean Grey, like angsty, like, you know, I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I guess like impulsiveness as well, because she's so young, doesn't have control over her powers. Well, she kind of does, but whatever. Anyway, so they're talking, or it goes back to Cyclops and X-23, and then he's talking to her about like, okay, so what happened? You know, last time we saw you before you were able to like regenerate your hair and stuff, you'd been like had no hair and you're like very sickly. And she's like, yeah, I was on the brink of death, so I didn't even know if I was gonna regenerate from that. I guess that's what freaked out the people that were attacking me, because they're like these zealot like people that hate mutants. But then you find out because actually she tells them that like they can just take her back to where they were at when they found her, and she'd be able to track them like Wolverine to wherever they're at. They go back to Florida, and then it shows the paramilitary group that was attacking last issue of like their little base that they're at, and it shows that apparently it's like the son of Stryker, and he's got this group, and he's like, you know, he's like having this whole spiel about mutants are evil. Well, not evil, but like they're an abomination because they're not human, they're not animals, they're just an abomination. And we can take pity on them because they're so below us, blah, blah, blah. And then, let's see. So he's like telling him about this crusade they're about to go on and just like kill all mutants. And then there's this really cool scene before the all new X-Men like just barge in to like attack, where you have, well, you don't know like what type of like room they're in, like some room, and then Kitty says, as we practice, everyone follow Laura, but everyone answer to Scott. Listen for Jean's voice in your head. She will let you know when it's time. We are right behind you. So I thought that's pretty cool. Like the game plan, like before they like go in and just like take him down. And so Jean like takes or like mind jacks the Stryker dude, and then starts like saying all this weird stuff. And then like while they're distracted, it's like boom, optic blast, and like they all charge in, stuff's going down. But then when they're fighting, I guess like, yeah, like the dude that she mind jacked gets control of his mind again, and Jean's like, oh no, everybody retreat now. And then everybody's like, wait, no, we're getting the cover of these guys, like they're not going to touch us. And then she's like, no, and then all of a sudden he has like this power outburst manifestation thing, and like apparently I guess he's a mutant too, and yeah, he can like do stuff. And then like the last line is him being like, alright, God's will be done, and then is to be continued. And like now you have the all new X-Men incapacitated while in the base of their enemies. But yeah, that was I really enjoyed this issue. It was really good because I wasn't sure how they would do this X-23 thing, and then it was weird because on the cover you have like her kissing. Oh, that's the other thing, is like when Jean was reading Scott's mind while he was talking to her, she's like, Cyclops is very fond of her or something. And like the cover is like him and X-23 kissing, so it's like really weird, but it's not only down in the issue, so yeah. But yeah, that was X-Men number 20. I mean all new X-Men, not X-Men, all new X-Men. And so I will let's see, what am I going to read next? I guess I'll read X-Men and then Daredevil. So that was all new X-Men. I'll come back with my thoughts on X-Men and then Daredevil. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to say, but like last week I did like the top, my like first 3 books I read, and I didn't do any of the other ones because I didn't get around to it. But this week I would have did like Saga and then Uncanny Avengers, but since they're like so full of spoilers and I don't want to like talk about them, you know, that those would have been like my top 2 on my list of what I was reading, and then like all new X-Men would have been like number 3, but I'll shuffle it around, and then all new X-Men is now number 1, and then I read X-Men and then Daredevil. So yeah, I'll come back after this with my thoughts on those 2. Okay, so I just read X-Men number 8, which is part 2, I think, of 6 for a story arc that they just introduced Lady Deathstrike in the last issue, with Typhoid Mary came in at the end, and then essentially she wants to get into like a better body than what she currently has, because she's like put her essence into a host that is, or like a host body that she shares with a heiress to some empire for some Latin American, I think it was like some dude that was rich in Latin America. I don't remember exactly what it was. So this is like a continuation of that. It is pretty good because it's like essentially you have, before this arc, there was like a John Sublime had a sister that was like able to control electronics or something, and she was like super power. Well, she wasn't super powerful, but she gained control of Archaea Prime's body, uh, or not Archaea Prime, but I forgot what her name was, Karima Shapandar or something. Yeah, her. She was like a synthetic person, so she wasn't actually like an organic human. So she had like this Sentinel-esque body or something, and then John Sublime's sister was able to get into that body, and then like it became a new entity called Archaea Prime, and then it just like destroyed like a lot of the Jean Grey school and just like wreaked havoc, and like the X-Men had to like come in and try to stop him or stop her, and like it was like a really down to the wire finish, and they like barely got the job done. And so it's cool because like on this one you see that I forgot what happened in part one. Part one I think was just Lady Deathstrike wanted to get into Karima Shapandar's body, but then she found out that they had Archaea Prime there, and then now she wants to get into that body or something. I need to go back and read it, but whatever. So she's wanting to like get into like an even better body, but then like she doesn't know she's playing with fire, which is what you find out in this one, because like John Sublime's there when he finds out like what she's trying to do and tries to prevent her. Because what happens at the beginning is you have a break-in and it's Typhoid Mary, and then like Psylocke is able to like chase her. Well, she's not chasing her away really. It's basically just Typhoid Mary, and she's like stolen something, and she's leaving the Jean Grey school. You don't know what she took, and you have Psylocke in pursuit, and she's like the only one there that's like able to stop her. And like it's her and Rachel Grey on security because everybody else is like asleep since it's at night. And it's funny because like Rachel Grey makes a joke about like, you know, people used to like make fun of her for sleeping in her outfit, costume, whatever, because like Psylocke's chasing Typhoid Mary, but she's not, doesn't have her outfit on, her like armor or whatever. So she suits up and then goes after her, but then since she's like the closest one to her, she's like basically tracking her alone. So she's on her own, tracking Typhoid Mary to wherever she's going. And then since Psylocke's like a telepath, she's reading Typhoid Mary's like thoughts and everything, and like figuring out what she stole and what she took and all this other stuff, and like relaying it back to Rachel, who's there with Storm. And so, well, Storm walks in like after everything's gone down, and then Rachel just tells her what's up. Let's see. Oh yeah, and they find out that she took basically all of the X-Men like data archives, or a copy of it, and because like in the last issue, Lady Deathstrike was just gonna like try to like brazenly kidnap Karima Shapandar because she was like out jogging outside the school's walls, but Monette was with her, so she was able to like avoid that. And then yeah, and then like the Lady Deathstrike was like, well, my intel's off, I need to get more up to date data on the X-Men, so she sent in Typhoid Mary here to like steal the data. And so on her way back, she's looking at all the stuff, and then like the little narration is like happening as she's looking at it, and she pulls out something with like a biohazard sticker on it, and then it's basically that Psylocke talking to Rachel about, she even took the live sample of was it Archaea Prime? Was it? I have such a feeling that like that wasn't her name. Archaea was not her name, but I guess I'm trying to think like if she had a name before she fused with the body of Karima and called herself Archaea Prime, but whatever. After that, she was calling herself Archaea Prime, but basically, Typhoid Mary took the Archaea Prime live sample, and then Rachel Grey then called John Sublime to like inform him about it. And then while he's talking with Rachel, you know, he's kind of preoccupied with something, and then like the camera pans back to see that he's in the same room with Lady Deathstrike. So yeah, so she's like, yeah, we stole the sample, and yeah, and he's like, you don't know what you're doing, because you know if you don't put that back or not do this, you're gonna kill us all, because my sister is like super crazy and super powerful, and she wants to kill all living things. And Lady Deathstrike's, yeah, like it's so funny. She has like such a like haphazard, nonchalant attitude about it. She's like, yeah, whatever, I just want this awesome body. And so yeah, they're having this conversation, and then he finds out that they got a live sample, and he's like, holy crap, because he like actually sees it when like she's about to like rip it up and touch it, and he's like, no, don't do it, because like that's how she's able to transfer from, you know, person or like entity to entity, is to just like possess them. And so she like rips open the thing, and then Sublime takes it away, and he's like, crap, you idiot. And then it's funny, like this is all happening while Psylocke's like on the roof, because Typhoid Mary doesn't think that she tracked her all the way back to Latin America, which is pretty funny. And then so yeah, you have like Psylocke on the roof while this is all going down, and then Sublime's just like, no, like trying to stop Lady Deathstrike from getting possessed, because she's in she like injected her essence into that body that she's currently in, so I'm not sure if she would get possessed, or like if the body that she's in would get possessed or something, whatever. It's I need to go back and read the last issue, I'm sorry, because it's like it's been like a month, and I know what happened, it's just it's not fresh in my mind, especially like with all the stuff that happened before that, with like the first 3 issues of the whole Archaea Prime thing, which was cool, but I just don't remember all of it. So then that happens, and then they find out that it's inert, whatever that word, which means it's like, you know, disabled. And then Sublime's like, wait a minute, she's or it's inert, so she's not possessing it still, or she died somehow, so he didn't know she could die. He's like, this just changes everything. And then he's like, well, that's the other thing, is like, while Lady Deathstrike's talking to Sublime, she's like, you know, you've kind of been off the grid for a while. What's up with that? Like, we haven't been able to track you and stuff. And so, and then like telling from like his nervousness and paranoia about the whole situation, she's like, okay, clearly, he like lets slip that he like that was the only live sample that he knew about, and that there's others. But then like they obviously figure out that he's lying, but he's like, I'm not gonna, or not lying, but he's not. He has knowledge of the other live samples, and then you know, she asks him if he'll tell him, and he's like, you have to kill me first. And then Typhoid Mary just like scrambles his brain and like steals the data by touching him, and then leaves him on the ground all indisposed, so to speak. And then Psylocke like comes to his rescue to like take him back to Jean Grey School, so that they can figure out like just what's going on and like where they're going. And then it shows Typhoid Mary and Lady Deathstrike in their jet in Norway, and they crash, and then the Enchantress is there, and it turns out that she was like exiled there by Thor, and that when they crashed their plane, it was because the thing that scrambled their electronics was some sort of what's it called? An Odin force dome. And so yeah, but they're in like the area where the meteorite's at that crashed, so they're investigating that. And then Lady Deathstrike cuts a deal with Enchantress to like, you know, if you help me out with this, I'll help you. Oh, also she said Thor stripped her of her powers or whatever. And then she's like, well, if you help me out with this, I'll make you more powerful than Thor himself. And so they cut a deal with that. And then it goes back to the Jean Grey School, and there's like this scene with Jubilee and Roxy, because I'm not sure the character's name. What's the character's name? Well, in any case, Roxy like was like trying, or like she asked out one of the girls, and then like they punched her in the face or something in the hallway in like issue 1 or something, issue 2, I don't remember. And then like she's talking to Jubilee about that, and then like in the middle of their conversation, Monette walks by and she's like, Jubilee, suit up, we got a mission, let's go. And so but then before that, like Roxy like comes over the table they're talking and like kisses her in like the middle of their conversation. And then but yeah, they're like having this like whole discussion about, she's like, I don't even know why she punched me. This, like the X-Men are supposed to be all about inclusion and acceptance, and I can't even like go down the hall without getting physically attacked just because I asked some girl out. And so that happens, and then Monette's like, all right, Jubilee, let's do this. And she's like, and then before she leaves, Roxy, or Jubilee's like, Roxy, we'll talk about this when I get back, but Hopefully you get through this. And so we go back to Norway, where after cutting a deal with the Enchantress, Typhoid Mary is like, okay, lady, Lady Deathstrike, you cut a deal with her, but now, you should cut a deal with me, because, if you're being able to give someone all this awesome power from this, Archaea Prime sample or whatever, I want to be in on it. And she's like, puts her sword to her throat, and she's like, all right, I want you to integrate all my multiple personalities into just one and make me whole. And then Lady Deathstrike's done, or she's like, done. It'll be done. She's talking about how her partner, who's Reiko, is like building a new body shop as we speak, and that they're now in a partnership. And then but then Typhoid Mary is like, well, but just the three of us? If the X-Men are planning to stop us, we will need help. And then Lady Deathstrike's like, well, not just a partnership then, a sisterhood. Let the X-Men come, as she picks up the meteorite, and it's like, to be continued. So I enjoyed that. I kind of forgot what was going down in X-Men because Valley Atom happened, so you didn't have like back-to-back issues of like what the like main storyline was going on. So I kind of forgot, like I not completely forgot, but like a bit. So I need to like go back and reread it. But yeah, I really like where it's headed, because you have the villain from the first arc who is like, a super huge threat that like the current villains in the current arc are like not even caring about. They're just like, whatever, some ancient meteorite crashing lady, who cares about that? She can't do anything. And like, they have no idea what they're getting into. It's just gonna be so good. Like, see what happens. And then it's cool to see Psylocke. Oh, that's the other thing, is like the cover for the next issue kind of teased that like Psylocke would get there, but then get the crap kicked out of her. She's like all like, her outfit's all like worn out and stuff. And then you have like Enchantress, Lady Deathstrike, and Typhoid Mary there. So that'll be a nice throwdown to watch. And then but yeah, and then John Sublime and Rachel seem to like possibly be having something going on, so that was weird. Or at least Psylocke hinted at that. And then yeah, Jubilee in my neck, so I want to see more Jubilee. So yeah. And then Shogo was there. He's like always strapped to Jubilee's back, like baby harness style, which is funny. And but yeah, I'm enjoying X-Men. So yeah. But that's it for that issue and what I thought about it. And I'm glad to see it's finally back after Battle of the Atom. I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about Battle of the Atom, because I liked it. It's just, it was in every X book I was reading. So now we're finally getting back to the storylines before the event. But since it's been so long, I kind of forgot what was happening. Not completely. But yeah, still enjoying it. And then that's weird that like Kitty's not there anymore since she's with Scott now. So it's like she's on Uncanny X-Men with the, like I said, they're in Weapon X. So it's like Kitty and First Class X-Men, and then all of Scott's Uncanny X-Men. So she's not at the school anymore. So that's kind of but not. It's like it hasn't taken away from what's going down in the book right now. So it's like that was cool. There's like no momentum was lost. But yeah, I'll come back with my thoughts on Daredevil, which I've not talked about for a while, which is still good though. Well, it's kind of weird though, but whatever. We'll get to it. We'll get to it when I'm talking about it. So I'm gonna read Daredevil number 34. Be back to talk about it after this. Okay, so I just read Daredevil number 34, and it wrapped up the Serpent Society arc that we've been on for the last, I think, 3 issues. So, it's a cool concept. It was a bit weird in execution at parts, but basically, in like New York City's like law enforcement and public service like infrastructure, it had been infiltrated by like a Serpent Society, which was basically this white supremacist group that was like trying to like have sway over the city by using their fears against immigrants and minorities, and like wreak havoc by causing riots and such. So they're using, and there's this guy named, or this villain named the Jester, who's like using like mass media of like TV, radio, yada yada yada, to like stoke the flames of hatred and like do all this stuff to manipulate the citizens. And so like Daredevil is like, he has like a personal stake in this because he's a lawyer, so therefore it's like his law, like he is part of like that law system. So it's like he has to like go in to like make things right and like go in and clear out the snakes. It's pretty cool concept. But I guess I want to talk about the last issue, even though I probably should, but I kind of want to keep this short. So this one picks up when he's got the scriptures of the, what's it called? There was some book in the last issue that was like super important to the Serpent Society and all the stuff about it, and he went and got it after he had Doctor Strange tell him like where it was at, and so he did that. He comes back, and then he made them, the people that he took it from in the last issue, like think that he had destroyed it, but he actually kept it. And so he comes back to Doctor Strange. He's like, okay, what's this say? Since he can't read it because he's blind. And so he's like looking at it, and he's like, well, I can't tell you what it is because if you use that word, something's going to happen, and it's only going to be known to the people that are within the Serpent Society or whatever. And so he goes out to get help from the person who's filling in for Foggy right now, which is his ex-girlfriend. And Foggy has cancer, so he's like basically been put into like the hospital and like going through chemo and all that stuff. And so like Matt's under like even more weight because of that. Like all the time he's all like, man, I could like do all this stuff on top of like hopefully Foggy's okay. And so he goes to like the park, I'm guessing this is Central Park, and like asking his ex-girlfriend for like some help in the situation. And he actually like tells her that, because she's always like saying that he's not Daredevil, and he's like, well, okay, I'm gonna be serious about this because I didn't really need your help here. And then like the next like panel is like him in his costume and like her on the roof with some dude with a satellite radio, and they're broadcasting this, or he had somehow made this device that could broadcast to anything in the city of like what he was saying. He just had to like flip the switch, and so he does that, and then he talks about how the what the Serpent Society is doing to the city and its citizens, like how he's looking for the Jester, and he's like, and I'm gonna burn your secret book pages if you don't turn them in like 30 minutes, and just so you know that I'm being truthful, here's the secret word that you are not supposed to say or whatever. And then he has his ex-girlfriend say it, and then it's funny what happens next because she says it, and then it's like she like pretends that it's like having some adverse effect on her, and then she's like, and then like Daredevil freaks out, and she's like, "Ha, I gotcha." So that's pretty funny. And then so yeah, Daredevil swings over to where the Jester's at, and it's funny because like after that, she goes off the script and like keeps talking. So it's like really funny, so it's basically her broadcasting this thing to the whole city about how the Serpent Society is like a bunch of jerks trying to rip them down. And so Daredevil goes in, gets the Jester, beats down some Serpent Society dudes. But then the ex-girlfriend, like she keeps on talking. So it's like, because the Serpent Society has infiltrated the police and everything, it's like you see this helicopter and they're like, or like you see this dude that's like, okay, we should be able to find this lady, because they figure out that there's like wind in the background, so they're like, okay, she's got to be like on a high building, something, whatever. Let's try to find her. And so you have like this helicopter, NYPD helicopter, like circling the city trying to find her. And then she's like going on, and then all of a sudden Matt's like, oh no, she needs to wrap it up or they're gonna like be able to like find her location and take her out. And so you have these like excellent series of panels where it's like you have like the Jester hanging down, upside down, like tied up at the police HQ. You have like the helicopter getting closer and closer, like a dude with binoculars, like, all right, we got her. And then like Daredevil's like, right, like he's not at the building, but it's like within his view. It's like in his view, you can like see it. And then like the helicopter's approaching, and then it's like, oh man, what's gonna happen? And then something happens. I'm not gonna say what. And it was like, oh, that's great, really great. And then yeah, great climax at the end. And and then like something else happens after that of like I'm not gonna say what, 'cause I remember to actually keep the spoiler free, but like something like even after that, it's like something happens. It's like, man, Daredevil cannot catch a break. I love Daredevil. Just good job by Mark Waid, man. Just just you never know what to expect. Like you think it's you just from like moment to moment, just so good. And then like even the art is like really great too. So I love Daredevil. But yeah, it was a great issue. Every issue is great. I've not read like a single issue I've not liked of this book. I like recommend it to everybody. Just Daredevil, so good. But yeah, I also forgot to mention at the beginning of this that I did pick up the newest issue of Mass Effect Foundations, but I haven't read it yet, so that's not going to be on that's not going to be in this one. So I might say something about it on Twitter or something, or well, I probably won't. But yeah, I haven't read it yet, so I'll read that later. But yeah, that was it for this week. It was X-Men, all new X-Men, and Daredevil. Number 30? Was it number 30? 23. Wait, no, that was not 23. I'm looking at the Comixology page trying to see what number it was. 34. Daredevil number 34. All right. See, I'd say of those three, which one I like the most? I don't know, man. And then last week when I did this, I forgot to say, dude, it was totally Batman was the book of the week, because I mean, like Uncanny was good, but Batman like killed it. And then this week, I would say from the stuff I read, it's Saga, but from the stuff I've covered in this video, I'd go with oh man, see, Daredevil was really good, but X-Men is really picking up, and then all new X-Men was good. It was just like a good story. So it's leading. It's also but I guess I'll go with Daredevil because it wrapped up an arc. It was a good conclusion, and it was just good all around, like always. So, and then but everything was really good. I did enjoy all the stuff I read this week so far, so that's good. But man, we're at 30 minutes. I'm sorry if this was a long video, but thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, favorite or not, share with your friends. No big deal. And what did you read this week? Like, what did you check out on Wednesday, and then sit down and read, and like, oh man, some incredible stuff. I mean, I didn't talk about any DC stuff, so feel free to be like, whatever came out for them or anybody else that I'm not reading. So yeah, well, I'm not reading DC stuff. I just didn't get anything this week from DC. So, but yeah, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and until you see or hear from me again, I'm now signing off.